folks that want to say a few words about our celebrant tonight. I'm going to go first because, right, I'm up here now. So Alderman Zaleski is going to come up and say a few words, but before he does, I just wanted to say, you know, it's been a real pleasure, Rosie, and thank you. All right, but right now, the chairman of the City Council Aviation Committee, Alderman Zaleski.
Well, before that, I have to have a hug.
Thank you. I will be brief. I really don't need a microphone. My mouth is big enough, but today is the day probably many of us hope would never happen, and this is the party a lot of us never really wanted to come to. But that's just us being a little selfish. Everyone knows how much we all respect Rosie and the tremendous job she has done. Last week at City Council, alderman after alderman got up and paid their respects, showed their admiration for the work and the career that Rosie has had with the city, and that goes for Mayor Emanuel. So I had the pleasure of coming out today, and I've had the pleasure of being the chairman of the Aviation Committee for the last 3 years, working closely with Rosie and her phenomenal team. I told Rosie I would have walked up here today from the southwest side to make sure I paid my respects to her and wished her well in her new endeavors. So thank you for allowing me to come up and just say a couple words on behalf of the City Council to a phenomenal person, a phenomenal commissioner, and I'm sure we all wish her well. Thank you very much.
Alderman Spazzato of the 36th Ward, he was here earlier. Is the alderman here? Yeah. Alderman Spazzato is going to come up and say a few words next. Thank you.
Thought I was fourth. I'm moving up around here. Thank you. Just want to say, forget about the alderman thing. Just as an outsider, before I was an alderman, I just always admired Rosie. I don't know if a lot of you know, Rosie has deep roots in the 36th Ward. Grandpa Andolino was her grandpa, so he's a friend of mine, a friend of the community. So just a pleasure to work with her. Just a pleasant lady. Just did a great job for the city, for the airport. I mean, it was just always great to see her there all the time. You just did so well. You're just such a great face for the city of Chicago and the airport. So Rosie, I'm the king of the short speeches, so I just wish you well. We all love you. Great job. I'm sure the person that follows you is going to have tough shoes to fill, so thank you.
All right. Now, before we get into any outside folks, any other speakers, I wanted to recognize some of the other elected officials that are here tonight. I saw earlier Stephanie Neely, the city treasurer, former Mayor Mulder from Arlington Heights. Did Alderman O'Connor make it? I did not see her. Juan's falling down on the job and let me know. All right, so we're going to start now. John Leach is going to come up and represent the department here. He's got some stuff to share with the commissioners.
Thanks, Michael. So, and I'm bringing reinforcements here. I've had the pleasure of working with Rosie for the better part of a decade in multiple capacities, starting as outside counsel and then as general counsel. And in both of those roles, I was always the second best attorney at the department behind Rosie, who may not have a law degree, but sure did a good job of acting like a lawyer. And then moving over into operations, of course, I was second best, in my opinion. It was always second best in terms of facilities, environment, and the like. So we thought it would be appropriate to put together some gifts for her on behalf of the department. And we started by rummaging through her office and found some things. And the first gift, if Paul Brown can help me here, is the shovel and the helmet and a photo of the groundbreaking of the LMP from September of 2005. And we think that this is very fitting. I mean, that was a Monumental moment, obviously, in moving the program forward. Rosie's taught all of us to be a strong leader and never take no for an answer, and her perseverance and her resilience has drained down on our whole staff, and I think that that photo memorializes the moment of starting the OMP. So that was the first one, but just stealing your own gifts wasn't going to be good enough. So we thought, what could we give her? I mean, we should probably give her maybe something like a runway sign. But then we thought, well, there's a lot of runways that are attributable to Rosie, so it'd be difficult to just pick one. And then I thought, well, you know, driving around the airfield, I see a sign quite often that's very familiar. They're initials that I got to sign as our proxies often, and aviation's full of acronyms. And of course, we all know when approaching a runway, you see a sign that says RSA, Runway Safety Area, but I know it is Rosemary S. Angelina. So, that's right. And then to honor you for everything you've done for the airfield, it shows 9 left, 27 right, the 10 left extension, 10 center, 28 center, 10 right, 28 left, and of course the 2 towers. I think it's safe to say that no commissioner has changed the airfield as much as you, and nobody will change the airfield as much as you. So in order to go along with that, we've got a time lapse, so to speak, of the airfield, showing it in 2003 when you started, with a bunch of crisscrossing runways, obviously inefficient airfield, to where we sit today with the complete south airfield under completion. So thank you. And finally, it wouldn't be a CDA going away party if we didn't give you a light. So I want to thank you, Rosie, personally, for making me a better person, for pushing us, always telling us to do better, to never take no for an answer, not go with the status quo, and it's really trickled down, and you've made all of us better, and your love for the airports has resonated throughout the entire department, and we're going to miss you. Thank you.
All right, if Sue Shock from the FAA would come on up. And now we still have a few more, so I'm going to put somebody on deck and somebody in the hole. So Bill Ferrara's going to follow Sue, and then Kathy Petrowski from the TSA. So thank you.
Thanks. Rosie, I have the pleasure today of representing Barry Cooper, who was unable to be here. And on behalf of the FAA, we wanted to be here to say that you've been a fabulous partner. You know, to recognize the modernization program really isn't saying everything that we've thought about when we think of all the things that you've done here at the airport. The sustainability initiatives that you've put in place have been great. If I didn't know you, I don't know that I would realize that with a few llamas around, my herd would be safe from coyotes, so thank you for that as well. But the sustainability piece of it and the airport safety piece have also been things that to have such a construction project going on at the same time that you've received safety awards, have been recognized, also says a lot for everything that you've done for this airport. So thank you very much and best wishes.
Well, Rosie, on behalf of Customs and Border Protection, we want to thank you for all that you've done here locally for us and throughout the nation. You've been a tremendous advocate of us, of ours, and quite frankly, when I came here 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, for my TDY, we had a little bit of a crisis. We were in sequestration. We had atrocious wait times the year before. Great team here with Matthew, but Matthew didn't have enough people here as a port director. And there were, you know, the increased growth in the airline industry was up 10%, and we were looking at a summer that was going to be quite a disaster. And then I met you. and I said, you know, how can we fix this? There wasn't one entity that could possibly fix this, but there was one person that could pull everyone together to fix it, okay? And many things that we've done, but the APC was incredible. I mean, that has set the stage for other airports throughout the country. You're leader in that. You pulled everybody together in 26 years of service. I've never seen airlines, an airport authority, and government authorities to come together to solve a problem. And that's completely attributed to you and your drive. So that lovely gift wrap package that I did myself is from not only Matthew Davies and I and our employees, but also from our headquarters colleagues, Mr. McAleen and Mr. Wack, to be here tonight, but they wanted to express. So I know there's a lot of people that want to talk. Thank you, and I'm really sorry I couldn't get you the espresso machine in secondary. So that's
Okay, I'm afraid I'm going to be the only one to read something here, so I don't want to miss anything. Throughout the years of service to O'Hare, Commissioner Andolino has worked with TSA to create a safer and more passenger-friendly airport. O'Hare is one of the busiest airports in the nation, and thanks to the efforts of the Commissioner and her staff, TSA has been able to implement meaningful changes to improve our collective operation. These changes include screening upgrades, including the latest technology, always the latest technology on the cutting edge, greater opportunities for discussion among stakeholders to bring us all together to share information critical to the success of our airport community. And my personal favorite, a brand new Terminal 5 environment that includes a completely new checkpoint offering greatly improved atmosphere for the Terminal 5 employees, as well as efficiencies for the international passengers using that gateway. As Rosie moves on to other career choices, I wish her well, and know that her new partners will benefit from her support, as TSA has done throughout her tenure here at O'Hare. Thank you, Commissioner, and safe travels.
All right, next up is Franco Tedeschi from American Airlines, and then Kate Gibo from United Airlines will be right after him.
Good evening, and on behalf of American Airlines, it's our pleasure to be here this evening to say thank you and to celebrate Rosie, a friend and a colleague, and someone who's really supported American through a significant amount of change in my tenure here as we've gone through restructuring and merger work. And Rosie, your accessibility to me, American, is something we'll always remember. Wind, rain, snow, and most recently fire. You were at the other end of the phone. You were always with us, and your leadership is something that we will always be respectful of and thankful for. And we wish you much continued success, and we're ready to continue supporting you in your future endeavors. So thank you again.
So I'm Kate Gibo with United Airlines, and last week I attended the Airports Going Green conference, where there were a couple hundred people attending the conference. And today, as I was coming back from DC, I traveled to Terminal 2, where I went past Wicker Park Sushi. And the reason why I call out those two things is those are two things that Rosie created on her own. And with her drive and determination, her team was talking about that earlier. I thought it was interesting they got the red light showing on this side, but really with Rosie, there are no red lights. It's all green lights all the time. And there is no better advocate for Chicago, and there's no better advocate for O'Hare, and we really appreciate your support. We'd like to give you, I know you want an MII from us, because you would always want an MII, but we gave you from United, a 787 model, because you welcomed it when it was first delivered here, and we really appreciate your partnership. So thank you, Rosie.
All right, can I get Ray Gooding, Alan Dadian, and Andres Garcia?
Okay, I'll make it quick. I'll maybe keep it under 2 minutes. In 2001, 4 of us came to the OMP, myself, Alan Dadian, Tom Lyon, and Bill Trudeau. And we didn't really know what we were getting into, but we had nowhere else to go. So we came to the OMP and got busy and got to work. However, from 2006 on, the airport and the OMP truly became magical because of this woman right here. And it stayed that way because of Rosie and her team and the leadership that they provided to all of us. So while others of you out there helped move mountains to get the program started, we got to build the program, and we moved creeks, pipelines, basins, buildings, railroads, highways, and we moved 27 million cubic yards of earth while we were at it. And along the way, we built some runways. But Rosie always had our back. Through thick and thin, she had our back. And it's very comforting to go to work and do what you need to do when you know someone has you and they're supporting you. So I've personally been blessed to be a part of her team. She's caring, she was demanding, but she was so appreciative. And we were all fortunate to be under her wing, let me tell you. And a lot of people won't realize that until they move on to their next gig. But she truly built a special place, a special environment, and she allowed people to thrive. And this has been some of the most unique years of my life. And I owe it all to this woman. It was unparalleled. Unparalleled, unprecedented, and unbelievable ride that she gave us. So on behalf of the OMPCM team, we wish you the best. We love you like a sister, and we wish you nothing but success.
Commissioner, honored guests and friends, echo Ray's comments, you have been an unbelievable part of how much you mean to the city of Chicago, the airport, the teams that work for you, and that's evident by the number of people that have showed up for you tonight. As I visited with some of the old acquaintances in the room, the Mike Bells and the Bill Trudeau's, and just kind of get a little feedback from the room, all I kept hearing was, great leader, amazing woman, we are going to miss you dearly. The list goes on and on. So I had the good fortune of working here for 35 years and worked under several administrations, and they were all good in their own special way, but with Rosie at the controls, it was all different. Her drive, her passion, her decision making, her support. And most importantly, we used to call them Tuesdays with Rosie. So every Tuesday, without fail, sun, shine, rain, cold, we would get out in the field. And Rosie made it a point to talk to the contractors in the field, the tradesmen, the inspectors, everybody that was the doers. And she went out of her way, and we'd be like, okay, where are we going next? And you never knew where that was going to take you. Down a 40-foot pit, in a tunnel, going through a house that was going to get raised. I got you, don't worry. How could I forget the control tower? And then racing with Colette up to the top of the control tower repeatedly, which he never won that race, just wanted to throw it out there. But, we separated from the rest, and we raced the team on a daily basis, and we would always have our back. So, as I look back over the last 10 years, some of the major milestones, we had the 10-lap extension, which is near and dear to me, which is a career highlight for myself. Runway 9 left in the control tower, and that was commissioned. Runway 10 center, 28 center, just recently, last year. Can't forget Midway Saudi rent-a-car facility, which was successfully delivered last year as well. But all in all, every time we had an event, and the media was a big part of what we did, and that name recognition that we accomplished, the milestone, Rosie went out of her way to recognize team members. Just recently we had a lead certification down at Midway Airport on the garage, which was an accomplishment for our team. Our team members were there that were in the field, and she went out of her way to thank each and every one of them publicly. And at this time, I think it's time for us to thank you. Commissioner, thank you for everything. Continued success on your next endeavor, and you'll always be with all of us in our hearts and our minds.
Well, I'll continue on with the theme that everyone has so far spoken about Rosie. I can only describe Rosie with a few adjectives, and those have to do with drive, tenacity, resolve, and perseverance. I think we all learned some very valuable lessons from Rosie all the years that we've been working for her. And while we do that, we always found a way to laugh when we met with Rosie. And unfortunately, in some cases, it was at my own expense. But nonetheless, I think it's important to understand that that showed the precious human side of Rosie has. And that is reflected not only on the passion she has for her causes, but also for the people that she works for and works with. Rosie has become certainly a global figure in the aviation industry, and for that reason has elevated Chicago to in a global status. Rosie, personally, and on behalf of the OMP staff and the program management staff, we wish you the very best. We're certain that you're going to do well, and we are sincerely going to miss you.
All right, if I could get up here, Joe Benton from Host, Joe Dimizio from Hudson, and Joe Waller from Westbrook. Joe Benton from Host.
Good evening. On behalf of our President Steve Johnson, who could not be with us today, I'm here representing HMS Host. Rosie, in my 21-year career, I've had the pleasure of working with 4 dynamic CEOs. Bill Jennings from the Orlando International Airport, Maureen Riley from Salt Lake City, Joe DiDonizio from Hudson and his father Mario, and now Steve Johnson. But you have exemplified leadership. And on behalf of our company, we just want to thank you and wish you well, and we will always be a Rosie fan.
All right, we're almost done, I promise. You guys just got to pay attention for a little bit longer. I get everybody's attention, all right? Quiet down the room. All right, Joe, come on up. Hi, I'm Joe DiDonizio. I'm the president and CEO of Hudson News. We have a few stores at O'Hare and Midway. And I think we started back in 2003, right at the same time when Rosie did. And I've gotten really to know her so close, especially over the last 5 years with you as head commissioner. And we've had this kind of, I would say, love affair relationship. Where's Mark? Mark's in the room somewhere. And there he is. Kind of like one of those Hallmark TV movies. And there's so many reasons to love Rosie. She's obviously beautiful, but that's not the main reason I love her. She's great to work with. Look at everyone in the room this evening. You certainly are great to work with. It's not those high standards and expectations she sets when she gets you to do things that defy business logic with her charm, her smile, her laugh. It's not her values and ethics that are so remarkable that I've admired for the last 5 years. It's not even that we share some of those passions like luxury retail, customer service, fashion, aviation. We both have Italian roots. We recently found that our parents share a winter place in Boca Raton, Florida, which I came from, by the way, today. It was 75 degrees. But I think the thing that I've been drawn to over the years has been how you have selflessly led the Chicago aviation system so selflessly with such leadership. I think you have such a way of understanding issues and getting things done without upsetting people, and this is never easy. Countless times we've been in meetings together, debating issues, and I always walk away from those meetings feeling better than when I walked in. Always. You've always been very special to me. I'm going to miss dealing with you here. So it's very bittersweet. I'm so happy that you're moving on to bigger and better things, but I'm going to miss working with you from the bottom of my heart. So all the best to you and all future endeavors. Thank you.
Senior Vice President with Westfield Corporation, and I will be uncharacteristically brief since I am speaker number 26 out of 32. When I think about Rosie, I'm trying to think of how I would describe her to somebody, and what occurred to me was really two things. A brilliant smile wrapped around a core of steel. This is the kind of lady who knows how to work with people, get them to agree, even when they really don't want to. And that is a lost art in our society, and she is a master at it. So, on behalf of Westfield, thank you very much, Rosie. Congratulations.
All right, now I'm going to welcome up to the stage Chris Arman. He used to work with all of us. He's now at the tollway. He promises to be brief.
I want to have a refreshment as well. First of all, you know, this has been over a decade in the making, right? But I do want to start with one humble moment for a second. A friend of ours, Ted Woosley, has been battling a severe brain injury. Many of you probably know him. Today he had surgery. It was a success, excuse me. Adriana, thank you. Adriana specifically put him on the phone at 5 o'clock. They're still in post-op at 5 waiting on a room. But he said, I will see you soon. It's tremendous progress. I just want to remind you all, that we all get together and have all contributed and shared. And I'll have more about Ted in a minute, but keep them in the thoughts. If anybody wants to reach out to myself, Al Dadian, Frank Grimaldi, Jeff Jackson, we'll have the day-to-day updates. And I'm saying it because someday we may need your help. Real quick, as far as Rosie, I didn't know gifts were allowed. I thought this was a roast. But the reality is she came into the OMP back in 2003. Her first day thrown right into Channel 11 with Phil Ponce and Elizabeth Brackett. At the time, the Tribune reported that she was going to be making $140K, which many of you know is the consultant's cap that still exists today. Rosie's now going to be learning what cap rates mean to everyone. Now with that, certainly green, and I use green for my notes tonight, sustainability was very important to her, and people like Ted Woosley and the L&B team, Recondo team, and the team OMP really took it to another level. We all laughed initially, but we created a sustainable airport manual, and then the design manual, and now her 10th year hosting the Airport Going Green Conference, which is internationally renowned. Even I have made some green choices in products at home, which kind of baffled me or the family. But nonetheless, it was something that was up and coming. Rosie saw the wave before it became important to all the world. And now she's able to parlay that not only its common practice, but into future endeavors, we hope. At one point, she had me go to Korea to help fulfill a green sustainable committee meeting she could not attend. It had been the first time I had ever left the country. So I have never traveled before. Obviously, I kind of enjoyed it myself so much, but I thank you for allowing me out of the city of Chicago. But the reality is it exposed me to something totally new and different, which obviously Rosie likes the international bug, but it got to me a little bit. In fact, in Pulaski Day of 2009, I ended up bumping into Rosie. I was asked to go overseas by a headhunter, and who would I bump into in the Emirates Palace of Abu Dhabi but my boss, Rosie Andolina. Now, I gotta tell you, I performed horribly during that interview. I didn't know what day it was. I for once was speechless, clearly. But I gotta tell you, it took a lot to make amends from that. And certainly, like I said, I didn't get the job. But if it weren't for Rosie, who was actually there with Mayor Daley and a whole entourage, I'm toast. I'm calling Pat Hardy. I'm calling Jack Hartman. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. They're like, well, where the hell are you? I'm like, it's Pulaski Day. It's on my personal time. If you go to the Emirates Palace, located off the Coronation, Abu Dhabi, there's still a chalk line around the furniture where we were. My wife wouldn't have believed it, but she was there and immediately went to the restroom. We moved on. It took some time. You know, Rosie really has grown and nurtured people's careers, and certainly sustainable thoughts and coordination with other airports and other industry leaders throughout the world. And she's now moving on to those later rate caps. But one thing that I understand may be necessary, it's not a gift, but I was looking up in the catalog all the different ways that cubicles can be neat and nouveau. I'm not sure where she's going, but I understand maybe offices aren't allowed, I don't know. But you can really trick out your cubicle in so many fascinating ways. It's certainly space economical, it's good for the environment, not to have large office space, etc. But at any rate, green, economical, and functional, it's the way of the world. Thanks again. We really appreciate the opportunity that Rosie's provided me and others as far as career and empowerment and growth in someone's lives and how it affects everybody. We like to think we take advantage of those opportunities, convert it into something, but we're all here tonight making sure that Rosie knows a lot of people appreciate her. We wish her well, and again, go Team Ted.
As Kristen does, Rosie's both a good and forgiving boss. Commander Argenbright from our CPD here in Chicago is going to come up, followed by Chief Sampy real quick. Thank you.
I'll be real brief, and after Chris Artman will thank me. On behalf of the many men and women of the Chicago Police Department at both O'Hare and Midway airports, we'd like to thank the Commissioner for everything you've done for us. No matter what requests we made to him, whether it was reasonable, it was done. And both of our airports are a lot more safer, more secure since you were Commissioner. I want to thank you. Personally, I want to thank you as a boss and as a friend. And we're really, really going to miss you. Thank you.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Tim Sampy. I'm the fire chief for the airports. I will attest to the 2 minutes because Mike Bowen gave me the I'm going to cut your budget look. So we will comply where needed. So I will keep this quick. On behalf of Commissioner Santiago from Chicago Fire Department, couldn't be here this evening. John McNicholas has already reached out to Commissioner Andolino. This is one of their greatest allies, one of their best of friends. As far as I'm concerned, my mentor, my boss. I got the greatest job in the city of Chicago. I work for 2 commissioners, and both commissioners I respect as a friend and as a boss and as a mentor. Can't get a better job than that. But the most important quality about Rosie Andolino is not only does she love her police department, her fire department, her public safety, her airport, you name it. She's disabled, women's, she goes environment. She goes on and on and on with her accomplishments. But her greatest accomplishment is the people that are in this room. And I can say that from the heart. As a fire chief, I know the police commander is in the same boat, Chief Edgeworth. Anytime she travels the world, I don't know when she sleeps. I don't know when she eats. Half the time it's a bowl of soup and a plastic spoon, and she doesn't even get to eat it hot. But the most important thing is this woman does is she gives the credit to everybody around her. So everybody in this room, at some point in time, she's been in a conference, she's been a speaker, she's been somewhere, and she says, oh, hold on a minute. You got a problem with the fire department? I got a guy. And that's just not an Italian thing, folks. I'm half Italian, she's Italian. Nicky, where's Nick? Nick, he's our guy. Everybody's got a guy. And fortunately for Rosie, she got some girls too. So it doesn't matter if it's police, it's fire, you need an engineer, you need somebody from the environment, I got a guy. I got a girl. Whether it's East Coast, West Coast, we're digging the Port Authority out of trouble, grabbing our West Coast friend, up north, doesn't matter. Rosie's always got somebody around her that she gives the credit to, and at the end, the credit goes to her. So with that, on behalf of the Chicago Fire Department, on behalf of anybody that's ever worked for her, anyone's ever talked to her, had a cup of coffee with her, I'd like to thank her, wish her well, and God bless, and we're going to miss you.
All right, we only got one more speaker. Chief Edge has promised to be very long, so he's going to come up. But before Chief says anything, I wanted to offer a special thanks to Raleigh Kevlinski from the CDA and Mike Eberlein for making all the nice gifts that we got earlier. So, thank you guys.
Good evening. Excuse me, if I could have your attention real quick back there. I'll whistle. First off, Rosie, I know your family's here, so can we see where you're at there? Where's Rosie's family? You got Mark, your mom? We want to thank CDA, and everybody here wants to thank the family for sharing Rosie with us, okay? Rosie cries, so do I. It's a sign of strength. And I've never, believe me, it's, at this time, I look at Rosie and I said, what am I going to talk about? Well, we'll talk about being a leader. And a leader is very simple. So in my mind, I try to be simple. I take the L, and what does L stand for? L stands for loyal. Rosie's been loyal to the city of Chicago, to the mayor of Chicago, both previous and current. She's been loyal to the elected officials, everybody at the airport community, and that's why you're here tonight, to recognize her, and a lot of you aren't here, but you have made that known to her. She's been loyal to her employees. That's everybody here. I'll reiterate some of the things that were said about she gets out there, she gets it done, she meets people, she thanks people, and there is never an I, as we all know in team. Rosie gives credit to everybody, and that's from the top on down. I look at E, the letter E in leader. I look at engaged. Rosie is somebody that has a vision, and her vision was very clear
to all of us. Her vision was CDA, O'Hare Midway, #1, and she gets out there and gets it done, and that's where we sit. We follow her, and we love following her. If we look at her openness, Rosie's open to what people think. If you watch her go around the terminals, she talks to customers, she asks them what they think, she asks questions, and then we come back and we have to hear it, and we love it. So, but she gets out there. She likes to get her feet on the ground. She has a different management style, and one of the management styles, I call it, is management by walking around. You heard it here before. There's nothing better than Rosie going out on the plane or coming back on the plane, because that means we're all going for a tour. I actually enjoy the tours. I love her ideas when she comes back, because it's all based around making us the best, and you've done that, and we appreciate that. I go to meetings. Sometimes she lets me sit in on meetings, not often, because I want to learn. And she knows I love sitting back, just listening, because she's a mentor. She's a leader. And if you sit around and watch her act, and watch what she says and the questions she asks, she does her homework. She's a wealth of knowledge that comes from experience and education and just being a people person. We're almost there. She's ambitious. Status quo does not count in Rosie's book. Status quo, you'll never find it. She goes above and beyond. She sets her goals very high, and she includes her team in those goals, and we buy into her goals because we know it puts us #1 again, and we appreciate that for your ambition. I got my eyes worked on, so I can't even read my notes anymore. She has that, as was mentioned, she has that can-do, get-her-done mentality, all right? She's going to tell you something, and the team is going to respond, and they always get it done, and they enjoy it. She likes results-driven, and she always gets the results, because once again, we work together as a team, and it means so much to us. And she is able to give us her vision, and we're able to go out and understand that vision and accomplish it as one whole team put together. You will never get that done unless it was for your leadership here. Dedicated, obviously, she lives, she breathes, she sleeps, she eats, CDA, and making it better, and O'Hare and Midway. That's what she does. She's always thinking about those things. She leads by example. She rolls up her sleeves, not afraid to get dirty, as mentioned, and she doesn't mind jumping down in the trenches with the workers to show her commitment to making things better at both O'Hare and Midway, and we appreciate that. Okay, that's the first page. I spelled leader wrong. Okay, we're getting close though. E for enthusiastic. That's a second E in leader. There's nobody more enthusiastic than Rosie. She just goes out and inspires you. She comes back, she's the ever-ready buddy. She just keeps on ticking. When I walk to the terminal, she knows I'm the old man walking about 3 gates behind her. I'm not going to keep up with that pace. But she comes back, and that's how she moves. A lot of things in her head, a lot of things she wants to get done, and she gets all the things done. That means a lot to the airport and to the city. I love her humor. We all love her humor. She can catch and she can pitch. And along with the humor, obviously, comes the laughter, which you know when Rosie's around because you hear the laughter. And it's actually a good warning sign for a lot of us. If we know she's around and we hear the laughter, sometimes we go the other direction. Not often. Okay, we're ramping it up here. We're getting close. Respect it. Obviously, from the crowd here, we know how much Rosie is respected for what she's accomplished. And I will say with her team, because she'd be mad if I didn't say that. Her confidence comes from education, comes from her experience, it comes from that can-do
mentality and mindset. And it also comes from her being a student. I watch Rosie at night, go home at night. She got all the binders. She's somebody who studies things. She knows her stuff. There's nothing more pleasing than listen to her give a speech on any topic because she understands it. And don't think you're going to pull any wool over her head because it ain't going to happen. She knows. And I've been at a few of those occasions and they're always interesting. But she takes the work home. She knows how important it is. And she does a great job of selling our airport system, which is great. So, in closing, hey Bolin, in closing, here, in closing. The real career path is bitter and sweet for all of your CDA family because we are selfish, as was mentioned before, and we don't want to see you go. However, we're excited for you. We thank you for adopting us as your family. We wish you nothing but the best for success in the future. And we all are so blessed to have you as our leader. At this time, I want to say to Rosie, obviously this is not a farewell. This is not a goodbye, unfortunately, because she will be traveling through our airports, which means we're going to run into her again, and that's going to be a great experience. But we thank you, and I'll leave you with one other thing, only because it comes from safety and security. From Commander Erdenbright, Chief Santley, Joe Connor, your security team, your safety team. There's nothing more of a compliment to us is that you're trusting us that we're going to get the job done. You're always here to support us. We wanted you to rest well at night, and I'll tell you what, she's very cool, calm, and collective, as I would say. I know leaders that are like that. That's where Rosie falls into. She knows that, I don't care if it's something that doesn't sound good, she's very calm, she knows it'll get done, and I've always had good conversations talking about those things. So we appreciate it. This time I'm going to have Rosie come up and say a few words.
All right, for those of you who missed Chief Reggie's speech, we're going to put out a level alert tonight. The entirety of it will be available on our website. I got one more walk on. Pat Harney wanted to come up and say a few words. And then that's it. Thanks. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to express my admiration for Rosie and all that she's done here at the airport system. I wasn't going to speak, but I got a call from Muriel Fernandez making sure I was going to come up and say congratulations to you. All kidding aside, hey Chief, what was that again? What did you say? There was a time when I was in the mayor's office. I left the CTA, I was in RMD's office, and we were talking about the airport, just he and I, and he asked, we were talking about the OMP and aviation, and I suggested to him that it really should be one person running the airport system in the OMP, and he told me I was crazy, which wasn't the first time and not the last. But anyway, I told him if there's anyone who can do it, it's Rosie. And I think through your whole career, I think you proved me right. So congratulations, welcome to the dark side, and there's life after the city. Thank you. All right, everybody needs to quiet down, please. Rosie's going to come up and say a few words, but you got to quiet down, please. There we go. All right, thank you.
Good evening. First and foremost, I want to thank the entire team, and that constitutes all of you, because all of you have had a hand in making our airports the amazing places that they are. World-class facilities that allow us to showcase our amazing city. I do have to, Pat brought up, reach back and of course recognize and thank Mayor Daley for giving me the opportunity. Yes, let's give him a round of applause. He handed us the biggest project he had envisioned for the city, which truly was a legacy for him because it's something that his father started, Richard J. Daley, which is how O'Hare first came to be. Some of you actually worked on some of that and taught me a lot about the history, and I appreciate that. But it's because of his leadership, his faith, his confidence, that we could actually get it done. And it's because of all of you in this room. Where did I start? In the office of Michael Boland, learning about what an ALP, sorry FAA, but I didn't even know that. But we actually learned right from the beginning. And not only with Michael, but I have to recognize Frank Cruzy, who is a great mentor and leader and teacher. I know Michael Schneiderman is in this room, Michael, Ramon, of course we said Ted and the entire LMB team, and just everyone else who actually started out helping educate me about what we were about to embark on. And it truly was the largest construction project at an active airport in the world. And we were successful, and we were successful because of all of you, because of your talent, because of your knowledge, because of your commitment, and making sure we delivered the safest project ever. Not only we did it under budget and ahead of schedule, but we did it in the safest manner ever. So thank you for your commitment, and I want to thank Mayor Emanuel. Mayor Emanuel was kind enough to allow me to continue to serve when he came into the city as our mayor, and I appreciate his continued faith and confidence in me and the entire team, and allowing us to continue our efforts and continue the job that will transform and has transformed our city. So much so that we regained our title this year as the world's busiest airport, and that's because of all of you. So this is extremely bittersweet for me. I was with the mayor on Monday and we were talking. He's like, you're going to hate it. You're going to miss this so much. And he's absolutely right. I will. Most of all, I'm going to miss all of you. So thank you for making me better, for teaching me, and for tolerating me. It truly was a journey of a lifetime. And because of all of you, because of our two great leaders in our city council, and the great many people who have touched my lives, my family, my husband, where did he go? Oh, hi Dan. His patience, thank you. Because of all of you, though, we've really transformed and made history. We're leaving something that is going to be here for our city for the future. And both our airports have continued to grow. Midway is the fastest growing airport. We had over 20 million people last year going through our airport. So we've continued to make the right investments, grow our facilities, and it's because we've had great partners. The airlines, our regulatory agency, CBP, TSA, FAA, I can go on and on. But because of all of these wonderful partnerships, and of course, American, United, all of our airline partners who are with us, we've really been able to make a difference. And when I was driving in today, this morning, I was looking at that triple approach coming in, and listening on the call, our arrival weight was 106. That's because we were able to transform our airfield and make it that way and continue Chicago's path to be a global city with a global airport. And the changes we've made through Terminal 5 as well. I see Ben there. I know he's happy. all the commitment, bringing in our Chicago vendors. I want to thank all of you who are here throughout our facilities. Has really, again, gave the taste of Chicago to our guests, to our customers when they come to our facilities. So I want to thank all of you who worked so hard. Please continue that passion, continue that commitment. We need to make sure that our airports remain the best in the world because they are the future of the economy of our city. So with that, again, thank you all. Thanks for making my life so wonderful. Thanks for touching my life and teaching me so very much. I owe a lot to each and every one of you, so thank you.